Hi everyone, Paula Okone here, the host of Chatting with the Experts. Chatting with the Experts is a podcast for immigrant women from Africa and the Caribbean who have migrated to Europe or North America, the UK or Australia. And today I have another amazing sister who's going to talk about her journey to the US. Her name is Maggie Jean, and she lives in Texas, in Houston, Texas, exactly. And Maggie, thank you for coming to Chatting with the Experts. And please let my listeners know all about you because I haven't even given your bio. I'm waiting for you to do that.
Oh, how sweet. Thank you so much, Paula, for inviting me on your podcast, Chatting with the Experts. Wow, I feel elevated and I feel most honored to, be invited to share my journey, who I am, with your listeners, and in the hope that perhaps someone would hear something, would find a connection, and make a decision that, hey, you know what? I can be on Paula's podcast or I can become whoever it is that I choose to be. So thank you so much, Paula, for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So, what Maggie hasn't told you is that she's a well respected coach, leader, and these are things that she learned from a very prestigious organization. So, Maggie, can you tell us how you got into your profession?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, Paula. And just because I did not share with the audience that I am from the island of St. Lucia, which
Oh,
is something
yes.
you did ask me, but somehow that slipped me. So let me go back and let everybody know that I am from the island of St. Lucia and migrated to the USA. And was it 2003? Yes, 2003. And that has been an exciting, very interesting journey. And look where I am today as a licensed and certified Maxwell Leadership Coach, speaker, team trainer. So in 2015, whilst working a very, very tough retail job as a senior executive, I knew for me to continue that journey of winning at that time, because one of my values at that time was competition. I was very competitive at that time because of the environment. And I knew that I wanted to grow a lot more and to lead my team effectively. I wanted something to help me continue that journey. So, Paula, somehow I found the John Maxwell team, and that was in December of 2015. So immediately upon finding them, I took the steps as to how can I be part of something like that. I didn't know the full details, but you don't have to see the full details for you to make a decision. And so I found out whatever it is that I could, and I made the decision, and I joined the John Maxwell team. And I didn't only join the John Maxwell team. There is a part of the John Maxwell team who, caters for people who really want to grow and explode. It's called mentorship. I decided I wanted to do that too because I wanted to be mentored by people who have gone before me, who have tested and tried, and who have the results that I was looking for. And so up to the as like today, I am still a member, an active member of the Maxwell Leadership Team. I love coaching, it's my passion. And also, apart from coaching people, men and women, I do team training also to develop and equip accountable teams, Paula. So thank you so much for asking.
Wow, that's impressive. I told you guys that she serves. That's more of what I think about her. She serves people. She serves people through her coaching, her executive coaching, as she said, leadership, and coaching teams. So I know that Having left that, you said, stressful but executive job prior to joining the Maxwell team, there must have been something that prompted you to decide to do that. Why did you choose John Maxwell certifications or joining the John Maxwell team as opposed to some other team?
I found after joining the John Maxwell team, 2 3 months after joining the John Maxwell team, Paula, I recognized in myself my desire to serve others at the highest level. And I recognized also that the John Maxwell team shared those very same values, you know, developing, serving, equipping leaders with a great attitude and going out there and multiplying other leaders. That really spoke to my heart and to who I was. So I made a decision in 2017 that I would eventually leave, my really wonderful job. It was indeed a wonderful job, and I worked with some really great people. But I knew that there were people out there waiting for me to serve them. And I knew I could impact and influence many more lives if I went out there as opposed to staying in an environment where I was boxed in and I would have to follow just, hey, these are the principles of this organizations, these are our values, we gotta do things this way and that way. And don't get me wrong, the organization that I work with had great values. It was a very well structured organization. But I wanted to bring more out into the world. And I know I was chosen to do a job of work, which is coaching, which is training and developing accountable teams, Paula. There's nothing more transformative on the face of the earth like coaching. And I knew I wanted to share that with the world. I had to take a step out. And that's the reason why I decided that I was going all in to do what I love.
All in to do what you love. And this is an audio podcast, so you guys cannot see her face. When she's made that statement, all in to do what I love, her face lit up, smile from one ear to the next, beaming from ear to ear. And you can see that this is authentic. Authentic because she has a servant's heart. But in order to serve, she's got to have the people who want to be served, who want to get better. Like she said, she chose John Maxwell because there she felt she could be a servant to the people and with great values that she was getting from the John Maxwell team. So that was in 2017 that you left your executive job to join the John Maxwell team. And obviously, in 2020, the whole world shut down because of the pandemic. I was wondering how that affected you, if at all.
In everything, Paula, there are lessons to be learned. And in everything, we get affected somehow or the other. No one was
Hmm.
expecting a pandemic. No one ever knew what it is to be locked up in your home for months, not, socializing with people. No one knows anything like that. However, the difference was I was already used to doing virtual trainings. I was already used to doing virtual coaching. I was already used to doing virtual speaking because I was already able to serve people all across the globe. What it did for me is it really gave me an opportunity to serve many more people because now people were more open to be served virtually.
That's
What they
true.
didn't like, what they didn't want. Oh no, I don't want to do that on Zoom. I don't want to do that on the phone. I want to meet with you face to face. Then they realize, well, we can't meet face to face, but I need something. I need someone to talk to me. I need to take this opportunity that the pandemic has given me because we can't look at it as something that was, a speck or a spot on our growth. The pandemic actually gave us an opportunity for growth. Those who wanted it. So those who wanted it, they were in search. They were online looking for people. They want to know how can I do this and how can I do that. So Paula, it actually gave me a boost in my business. because people were looking. People were looking for any and everything. So, and I was ready. I was ready. That's the difference. Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. You were ready. You had been trained. You had been working in that environment. And now you were ready to beat people who were hungry, who were
Yes.
looking.
Yes.
And oh my gosh. And so, as we talked about earlier, the servant's heart came through in what you were doing at that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You want to make a difference with people who want to make a difference at the time to make a difference. And those are
Oh,
John Maxwell's words. We got to
oh,
make a difference.
say that again. Those are powerful words.
I want to make a difference with people who want to make a difference at a time to make a difference.
Wow.
And the pandemic gave us that great opportunity to impart these values in people because people were hungry for a change that some of them didn't even recognize that's what they were hungry for. So it
Hmm.
was I was just prepared. I didn't know what I was being prepared for, but to a certain extent, I got that opportunity when we were on the lockdown. Yes.
Wow, wow. And now that, well, pandemic is well, it's over. I mean, we're still hearing about new strains coming out, but it's not to the extent that it was 2 years ago. How have you found people in terms of how is their reception to the virtual coaching, the virtual training? Would you say that you've noticed a shift to the hybrid, or people want to go back into, in-person training, into in-person coaching? Would you have you noticed anything?
Yes, Paula, and I'm glad you mentioned that there is a hybrid. I'm very happy you mentioned that because there are two ways you can look at this. There's some people who have gotten an opportunity to work from home,
Hmm.
and there are some companies who've recognized that, hey, you know what? It's less costly for me to have my people or some of my people working from home and still getting good quality productivity. And you have some people who may work full time at home, full time back in the office, and a split. Because I am working with this company right now. I'm doing coaching with 11 of the top leaders, and they most of them are working a split: 2 days in the office, or 3 days in the office, and 2 days at home, or 3 days at home. Now, what you find, Paula, we have to admit there are some people who don't share that level of responsibility working on their own. All right? It's for them, it's something new, but they want to do it. They want to try their best to do it. And the
Hmm.
companies, knowing that, you know what, this is not as costly as it would be to, have this person in the office. I want to do that. But what is happening, companies are now hiring coaches to sort of help with growing these individuals to a high level of accountability. And that's why I've always called myself an accountability coach, or developing accountable team members. My business name is MJ's Coaching and Business Solution. So when I talk about business solutions, Paula, that's where it includes, team training, helping people learn how to be assertive, because there's some people who are in leadership positions and they're still kind of timid for whatever reason. They were given a leadership position, and they were told, go out there and just do it without the training. So you have some companies who hire people like me, coaches like me, people who have been in leadership, people who have held, leadership executive roles that can help develop these people for them. So it works, Paula. It does work. The hybrid is here to stay because it is beneficial to both the company and to other human beings, other people, other workers who want to explore that. Parents who have small babies, they can do that. So yes, it works, Paula. It really does work.
I love that phrase.
Yes,
Hybrid is here to stay because the workforce, I mean, has changed considerably over the past 2 years. But what I do love is the fact that you said that some companies executives are realizing that they have been put into these leadership positions and they're not quite ready for it, and that in turn has given you the opportunity to go. I would like to see one by one hold their hands and walk them through that. Your accountability coaching is something that is really needed because a lot of people are thrown in or have been thrown into positions at their work that they're not quite comfortable with. And growth comes gradually. We need each other. We need someone sometimes to just take us by the hand and say, "You can do it," and implement and put things into place so that the best you can show up at work.
that's right. The best you, because sometimes within ourselves we can't even see how far we can go, what our potential is. It's just like you and I are sitting right here, Paula, and me
Mm,
speaking with you. I'm sure you're seeing more of me that I haven't even seen myself.
absolutely.
So yeah, those and we want these people who are in these positions, whether by default or you earned it, or yeah, well, I'm a leader now, so now what? We want them to know that there is help out there for you. You're not alone. It
You're
is,
not.
you're not the first one that this has happened to, so don't be shy to raise your hand and ask for help. And what I'm going to say to the business owners also, you've got to help them too. You've got to give them the tools and equip them so that they can perform to the expected level. You can't just throw them in a position, or give them a position and say, well, you're getting paid, you got to do it. You've got to equip them. So I want the leaders out there, the business owners, the managers, the HR leaders, there is help out there. There are people who are capable of growing your people who have the experiences, people who learned because their journey was tough. My journey was tough. I didn't just get here, Paula. I fell on my face so many times. I had leaders around me who themselves didn't even know or didn't want to lend a hand. And I said, no, I'm not going to just sit back and think that this is it. So I learned, and I have a lot to share with the experience that I gathered. So I want the leaders out there to know that there is help, both the managers, the owners of the businesses, and the people in the positions. I want them to know that there is help.
What you said is very impactful. That you know many times we look at people and how well they've done professionally, but you don't know their journey. And as you're saying, you got to where you were, but it wasn't an easy journey. You fell on your face many a times. We all need to know that. None of us are perfect. None of us. We all struggle with something and we all need each other. And what better help to get when you are in a leadership position out in a job? What better help to get than a coach who has been through the same road or similar experiences as you have, because they get it. They know how it is. There's no condemnation. They're not condemning you. Instead, they're there to help, to walk alongside with you. And that's what I'm hearing from you, Maggie.
Absolutely, absolutely. A coach who believes in you every step of the way. A coach who wants you to excel, who wants you to grow, who wants you to perform at a level that you never expected. A coach who will remind you that there's nothing called perfection, but
Yep.
there is progression every day, every step
Yep.
of the way. Step by step, we're going to get there. That's what we do as coaches.
Wow. That's impactful. And now, talking about journeys, we kind of touched on the fact that you are originally from St. Lucia. That's in the Caribbean. How did you, or what inspired you? What made you decide to come to the United States? You had other options, I know, because in the Caribbean, being that it was some of the countries in the Caribbean were colonized by Britain. Traditionally, a lot earlier on in the in the early 20th century, quite a lot of us would look to England before we look to America. But you chose America. Any reason?
You see, in the past, Paula, we know our parents, yes, would go to England, the United Kingdom. It was a traditional thing. But along the way, that changed because we began hearing a lot more about America. And when you think of America, you think of growth, you think of success, you think of rebranding yourself, you
Hmm.
think of opportunities, you think of no limits. When you think of America, that's what you think about. And I wanted almost every one of those. I know there's no limit to me or what I can do or who I am. My age does not limit me. My color does not limit me. How coarse or how fine is my hair does not limit me. And I wanted that. I wanted to taste just a little bit of that. And I'm well on my way. Oh, that doesn't mean that the journey is easy. That doesn't mean that. And you know what? If it was easy, then you wouldn't be learning anything to share your experiences with other people or to inspire and to give hope to someone else. And that's what I see of America. The people who have gone and who have done a lot of things and come back to share, whether it's through a book, whether it's through a podcast like you and I are having right now, whether it's on a talk show, they inspire with their stories and they let you know that there is hope. So I wanted some of that, Paula. I wanted some of that. And that is the reason why I took that journey. I could tell you, yeah, my daughters came to university here and I wanted to be close to my children. I can't say that, but then they're grown adults. Do I
Yes.
still follow my grown adults or do I carve a life for myself because I can still serve? There's still something inside of me that is valuable that I can share with somebody else. This is America. This is what I see of America: hope, inspiration. And if you want to do it, you will do it.
Love it that. Hope, inspiration, and if you want to do it, you can do it.
You can do it. You can certainly do
Wow.
it.
Well, those are great words to kind of wrap up this.
Thank you.
But before we do go, we coming back again to your roots, St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Is there anything you'd like to, any fun facts about St. Lucia, or any facts at all? It doesn't necessarily have to be fun facts about St. Lucia that you can share with our audience. Because many a times when I say to people, "Oh, my mom's from the Caribbean, Grenada," they're like, "Where is that?" Did you get that question?
Of course, we get that question. And the other question is, why did you leave?
I know.
People love to ask you, why did you leave? Yeah, why did I leave the beautiful crystal waters? Why did I leave the two pitons, that twin peak we have in St. Lucia that everybody want to climb? It's so beautiful. Why did I leave all the fresh fruits that you can walk and just pick from the trees? Why did
Hmm.
you leave? Why did you leave the food? Why did you leave most of all the love of the people? That's
Hmm.
my island. We all from the islands have different little cultures, not so far fetched, but different little things. So, you know, it would be, I would love to say that my island is the best, but I know, somebody else from a different island will phone me and say, what did you say?
Right? You're speaking to one right now.
So I'm going to say I love my island. I love my island, and we also speak a broken French, Paula, because Saint Lucia, there was a 14-year battle between the French and the English French will
Mm-hmm.
win. Next time, the English will win, So we
Mm-hmm.
speak that broken French, which is just so beautiful, too. It's my island is very, very small. Everybody knows everybody. So these are lovely, fun facts. It's like, everybody. You walk down the street and, well, I know Paula and I know almost everything about Paula because it's just such a small island. Very green, very it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I miss it. I want the listeners to know that I do miss it. But life goes on, guys. Life goes on. It's not that I don't go back home. I go back home. But life goes on. It depends on where you are and what you want. I can't just decide, well, this is all I'm going to know. I've got to explore. I've got to
Mm-hmm.
expand. I've got to grow.
You got to explore, you got to grow. And that's why you came to the
Yes.
US. You said the US inspired hope and inspiration and an opportunity to grow.
Yes.
And many times, what we don't realize is that we can take some of that back home when we visit a different mindset. Education never ends, never stops. And so, even what we've learned here, take back and tell someone, you could do this a little differently. You could talk to your child a little differently because I know that our generation was the sort that, children are seen but not heard. And even then, when they were heard, they knew when you got a certain look, you better stop. So there's some things now that I know from living here. It's like, okay, I talk to my young people a little differently from how I was spoken to and say, let's hear what's going on. Tell me that in another way. All right, I'm here to listen. Some things that I heard but was said in a different way when I was growing up. So
Absolutely.
we learn.
Absolutely.
Mm. So
Absolutely.
tell my listeners, please, where you can be found online, because I know that you have given us such wonderful insights into why you are in leadership, why you coach executive teams, and why you coach teams. If anyone wanted to, not just find out more about you, but to do business with you, where can they find you online?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me that question, Paul. I appreciate you. So my website is maggiejeancoaching.com. maggiejeancoaching.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Maggie Jean. I am also on Facebook and I'm on YouTube. I don't have much over there, but I'm on YouTube. And
Mhm.
I'm also on the John Maxwell Team website, which is the John Maxwell Group / Maggie Jean. John Maxwell Group / Maggie Jean. So go out there, check me out. And on my website, which is maggiejean.com, maggiejeancoaching.com, there is a form where you can send your information to me if you want me to, reach back out to you. Feel free to do that. But I would love to hear from our listeners. I'd love to hear from someone who probably would just like to have a conversation with me because I do that. I do discovery calls, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and it's practically complimentary. There's no cost to a discovery call. And just let's have a conversation. I'd like that. Thank you for asking me that question, Paula.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. I mean, as you said in this podcast, you have a servant's heart. You're here to serve. And you can't serve if you don't have people to serve. So,
Yes.
and for my listeners, if you enjoyed what you just heard, Maggie Jean, you can reach out to me on my website, which is www.chattingwiththeexperts.com, and send me a note. And you can also be a guest. And if you really would like to be a guest, just fill out the form there on the website. I speak to women, immigrant women from Africa and the Caribbean who have migrated to North America, Europe, the UK, or Australia. And if you fit into that category, or you and an, a daughter whose parents came from Africa and the Caribbean and now are living in the US or Canada or any of those other places I mentioned, I would love to talk with you. Thank you, Maggie, for
Thank
being
you,
such an
Paula.
amazing
Thank you
guest.
for what you're doing for us women in the world. So thank you.